today I'm speaking to Nanda Kumar, CEO of Suntech, and we're going to talk a little bit about the relationship between back office processes and sort of customer-centric systems. So, this idea of improved customer, loyalty is a really big topic in financial services. But I kind of think, banks need to sort of sort out their legacy systems in the back office before they can look to improve the customer side of the business. So, what role does centralizing a lot of these processes play in improving this overall customer experience?
So let us go back to the definition of the the context of the customer experience itself. It is right from the service, experience. That is one of the critical part. That if you really look at, we've been spending dollars fundamentally to increase that experience, right from you go from online, specialized banking services, personalized banking services, to ATMs, to online banking, to mobile banking. It's all about increasing that experience. But one of the fundamental aspect of all this, okay, I'm getting the service, how much I'm going to pay for it. So a part of an experience is the cost of the experience itself. So we focus more on the experience part of it. It's important, very, very important. At the same time, looking at the holistic aspect of experience, of the cost of experience, is also an important aspect. So where we are coming from is that aspect. So what does the experience, the cost of experience itself? So that is the dimension. So to do this, you need to have a holistic view, which cannot be product centric or channel centric or region centric. It has to be a customer centric fundamentally. So if the customer has invested with you a whole lot of money, or they have put a lot of effort in bringing, let us say, some relationship of theirs to you, or they've been a good, credible customer for you, paying their mortgages on time, all these are aspects which you really want to reward the customer and bring back and make the customer special for you. So that's the aspect of managing, having a centralized infrastructure, which is, even though we are using the term called centralized pricing, which is actually a wrong connotation in my view, but then that's what people understand to talk about. We can't talk about anything more, because if we talk about relationship indexes and all, it looks more mathematical. This is something which people can relate. But from that point of view, if you really looking at the holistic aspect of the charge to the client, and looking at that from a centralized perspective is the key theme of what we are trying to do.
So what really are some of the strategies banks can use to improve customer loyalty and of course profitability?
Yeah, you touched upon a very valid point, a very critical point, which is once the backend systems are overhauled or streamlined. So that's a little bit of a mirage. It does not happen all the time. So, but you don't have to wait for all that to be streamlined before really get into a customer-centric approach. So, because we need to have a strategy where both the customer centricity is critical today. That is the starting point. Without moving more towards a customer-centric approach in today's world, your business itself is going to be at strain. So, I would address this opportunity in a different way. So focus more on the customer. The legacy systems, some of them are as good as they are because they serve the purpose. Leave that function there. Look at as an intermediate function or a centralized function which can look at holistic aspect of the customer, because that's a specialized function that can remain as a separate organ or separate function within the organization, and have ability to interface with any kind of legacies. So that's the kind of technology you want to have in this case, because if you are thinking of streamlining all aspects, and it is not just technology alone, it also needs your processes, your cost consciousness, how much of cost allocations, and a lot more has to come in. For example, if you were to consider customer profitability, you need to know what really costs you to serve that customer. In reality, with a lot of legacy background, it is not really possible for you to compute exact dollars of that transaction, because there's a lot of historical cost associated. So, but you can compute a very variable part of it. So we came across with this challenge. So one aspect is to look at loyalty as another index itself. So bring in loyalty not as a kind of just a point. Consider that as a currency. Consider that as an index, based on which you can measure every aspect of what the customer is doing, and use that as a holistic index into your own index to decide how you reward the customer, or how do you increase the experience of the customer.
Do you have any case studies, any examples of banks that have used these strategies?
We have a few customers we already deployed the solution. They're moving towards this. The key aspect is the loyalty should be looked at as an enterprise, customer-centric across all line of business. Today, if you really look at loyalty systems are more product-centric. One of the things you see, the credit cards and airlines, just for that service. Why not a bank look at the whole as a customer? They can enable a lot of services as part of the customer relationship, which you are doing for, let us say, high net worth customers. Can you take that? That it's not that it's not new to the bank. They are already doing, facilitating the whole financial management for them, even managing some of the lifestyle for them. We are working with some of the banks in the Middle East. It is the branch itself is a lifestyle. It is not about just a branch. They can go there and use their facilities as a business center. You can go and get advice on some of the investment to be made, and there's a Starbucks coffee center. So branch is a complete an experience or lifestyle management place, and moving towards that. I mean, that's another extreme kind of example. So using this to manage the holistic experience based on what the customer is willing to pay. I mean, some of those experiences do not be cheap, whereas there are very common man whose purpose is only about getting the functionality, just basic functionality. Treat them that way. I mean, they should also be served, and they don't want the lifestyle part of it. So the aspect of loyalty, using loyalty as an index to decide or a currency to reward is the kind of approach which you're talking about in enterprise loyalty, which is distinct from probably from a product-centric approach.
So how can the simulation and optimization and modeling of prices improve profits? I was wondering if you could really kind of take me through the math.
See, one of the things that these are all concepts, these are all approaches, but there is no hard and fast rule, because it varies from industry to industry, or location to location, or customer behavior to behavior. So the mantra is about our ability to experiment. When we are doing experiment, one of the things is that you can't go in one track and keep on making mistakes. If you find that is wrong, you need to be able to evaluate your assumptions are right, evaluate your progresses are in line with your other things. So you need to have an ability to model this, not only on a historical perspective, also a little bit on a proactive perspective, on a projection perspective. So when you are doing this kind of transformation, it is very important that you have an ability to continuously model this on a real time. It cannot be a one-off exercise. Typically what you do is, you create a pricing strategy, you get an external consultant who comes and helps you out that, and they roll out a strategy, and that is another 1 to 2 years process. You can't do that in this today's real-time and agile world, which you're trying to experiment. So you should be able to do small sprints. So where modeling is one of the key components as a technical or infrastructure which you want to. So you have one system which is computing the loyalty, and there are certain customer experience management, and also the experience is, and also there is a pricing component. And when you're doing all that, you need to be able to continuously take input from this and model it and see how the systems are progressing. If there is any difference, you should be able to correct it. That's where the relevance of the modeling comes into the whole engine, the whole context.